I represent Mexico.
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So David Benavidez's promoter just revealed that PBC has offered Canelo Álvarez $55 million guaranteed up front to fight David Benavidez. And to nobody's surprise, Canelo Álvarez, he turned down the offer. You know, for the Canelo Álvarez fans that are always defending Canelo Álvarez, I remember years ago, they would say things like, oh, well, you know, Canelo, he's avoiding Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade because this is all about business. It's about business. He's trying to make the most money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you guys explain the fact that Canelo Álvarez is turning down more money than he's ever been offered for one single fight against David Benavidez? How do you explain that? And you can't say, oh, well, you know, David Benavidez, he hasn't fought anyone. He needs to test himself more before he gets an opportunity to fight Canelo Álvarez. You can't say that because Avni Yildirim didn't have to fight anyone. Liam Smith, Caleb Plant, they didn't have to fight anyone. I mean, not only has David Benavidez now fought the opponents or one of the opponents that Canelo Álvarez fought in Caleb Plant, but he also fought a guy that Canelo Álvarez has been avoiding for nearly 10 years, and that is Demetrius Andrade. Been bullying Canelo and taking his lunch money for damn near 10 years, and then all of a sudden David Benavidez comes along and he beats up the bully for Canelo. I mean, if Canelo Álvarez is still going to avoid him, the least you could do is say thank you for taking care of that problem for me. And speaking of Demetrius Andrade, you see some of these Mexican fans in the comment section saying David Benavidez beating Andrade just proved that he didn't deserve to fight Canelo or some silly stuff like that. You guys cannot take credit for what David Benavidez did. That was something that Canelo was supposed to do himself. He gets zero credit for letting someone else beat the bully. I mean, that's like Floyd Mayweather avoiding Manny Pacquiao, never fighting him, and then celebrating once Yordenis Ugas beats him. So with that being said, because David Benavidez or because Canelo Álvarez turned down this huge offer, now David is going to move up to 175, and he's going to fight Alexander Gustafsson to become the #1 contender for Arthur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol. I'm going to tell you guys right now, none of these Mexican fighters today are built like David Benavidez. And David is only half Mexican. David Benavidez is daring to be great, while Canelo Álvarez is daring to survive. And that's not just something I'm saying, so you don't have to take my word for it. Eddie Reynoso himself just literally said this in a recent interview.
Creo que en esta etapa de la carrera de Saúl tenemos que ser bien cuidadosos en todo lo que vamos a hacer más adelante. ¿Por qué? Porque ya son los últimos años que va a tener Saúl como peleador, y tenemos que hacer realmente lo que le convenga a Saúl en sus intereses, y como te digo.
So this is what Eddie said. He said, I think at this stage for Saul, we have to be very careful in everything we are going to do further on, because these are Saul's last years as a fighter, and we have to really do what is convenient for Saul and what's in his best interest, end quote. Canelo Álvarez is daring to survive. That's what his trainer just told us. This man said Canelo has to be careful because these are his last years as a fighter. In Floyd Mayweather's last years as a fighter, he fought Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Álvarez. And at the time Floyd Mayweather fought Manny Pacquiao, Pacquiao was considered pound for pound #2, the best fighter in the world. When Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Álvarez, that was his version of fighting David Benavidez, a much bigger, much stronger, much younger undefeated champion. The only difference is Canelo Álvarez was actually much bigger than Floyd Mayweather compared to the size difference when it comes to Canelo versus Benavidez, meaning Canelo and David are more closer in weight. Canelo Álvarez needs to be careful. Terrence Crawford, he fought Errol Spence in his last years as a fighter. Andre Ward, he fought Sergey Kovalev in his last years as a fighter. And fans forget this kind of stuff. But at that time, Sergey Kovalev was considered pound for pound #1, the best in the world on some of the pound for pound lists. And Andre Ward moved up in weight to fight Sergey Kovalev, the real crusher at the time. Muhammad Ali, he fought George Foreman in his last years as a fighter. Sugar Ray Leonard, he fought Marvin Hagler in his last years as a fighter. And this is just so ironic because Eddie Reynoso is the same guy who did an interview with Marco Antonio Barrera. And he was trying to explain why his fighter at the time, Oscar Valdez, lost to Shakur Stevenson. So he says to Barrera, you know, the black fighters, all they do is throw 2 jabs and then they run and then you lose the round. So it's just so ironic because he's implying that Mexicans have more heart than black American fighters. So why aren't you encouraging Canelo Álvarez to show that Mexican heart right now? Why are you telling him to be careful? Why aren't you telling him to do the same things that Terrence Crawford did? The same things that Floyd Mayweather did? Why aren't you telling him that you have to take risks to be great? What's the point of talking about how tough Mexicans are when you don't even want your fighter to get in the ring and show it? I mean, forget about throwing 2 jabs. You won't even get in the ring. You don't even want your fighter to get in the ring with David Benavidez and throw any punches. You know, Eddie Reynoso, he also just recently came out. He responded to this news that they were offered $55 million to fight David Benavidez, and he claims that they never received any offer at all. This is where, once again, the internet, the microphones, and the camera get you in trouble. Because when Eddie says we never received an offer, what is he saying? Is he saying, oh, if we would have received the offer, we would have took the fight? This means the next time Eddie Reynoso or Canelo Álvarez does an interview, someone needs to ask them, so if Al Haymon is offering you $55 million to fight against David Benavidez, are you going to take the offer? Remember, guys, this is not the first time Al Haymon in the PBC series offered Canelo Álvarez some unbelievable money to fight David Benavidez. And it won't be the last. Once again, the walls are closing in on Canelo Álvarez. You guys have to understand something. The walls had already closed in on Canelo before when he was forced to fight Bivol. Now they're closing in again to where he's going to be forced to take on another tough opponent. And almost every single time Canelo Álvarez was forced to take on a very tough opponent, he either lost the fight outright or he won in a controversial fashion. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, the fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Decay Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodecay.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.